Hey, welcome. Just get comfortable for a bit. You don't really have to do anything, just relax and listen. I've got some horror stories for you tonight. And in the background, it's just some slow, calm gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, just let it play. Clear your mind a little and stay with me for a while.
Somewhere in the mountains of Kai Province, one of those roads you pass through but never actually stop on, something happened to a samurai named Renji. The locals know about it, they just don't talk about it. What they will say, if you catch them in the right mood, is this: if a storm ever forces you off the road at night out there, keep walking, no matter what you see. Renji didn't know that. He'd been traveling alone for days, just him, his sword, and a letter he couldn't afford to lose. When the storm rolled in, it hit fast, rain so heavy you couldn't see your own hand, wind ripping through the trees like something wanted you off that road. Turning back wasn't an option anymore. And then he saw it. A temple, just off the road, tucked behind a wall of tall trees. Old, but not falling apart. There was light coming from inside, faint but real. Honestly, it felt like luck, shelter, warmth, maybe even food. That's where everything went wrong. He stepped inside, still dripping, hand resting on his sword out of habit more than anything else. The smell hit him immediately, incense, thick and a little suffocating. The place was dim, lit by small candles along the walls. A handful of monks sat in total silence, heads down. One of them looked up. "You've come far," he said, calm, like he already knew. Renji just nodded. "I need somewhere to stay, just until the storm passes." The monk smiled, small, quiet. "You may stay." No questions, no "who are you, where are you going," nothing. Renji told himself he was too tired to find that weird. They gave him dry robes, a spot near the inner hall, a warm bowl of food. Everything looked fine, felt fine, but something was off. After that first exchange, nobody said a word, not to him, not to each other. They just sat there, staring ahead. Renji told himself it was discipline, silence as a practice. He'd heard monks were like that. He almost believed it. The storm kept going. Hours passed, or at least it felt that way. At some point, he lay down, fully expecting to wake up to daylight and move on. He didn't. When his eyes opened, the temple looked exactly the same. Same dim light, same candles, same monks in the same spots. No sunlight creeping through the cracks, no sound of rain either. Just stillness. He figured he'd woken up too early, got up, walked to the entrance, and pulled the door open. Darkness. Not regular nighttime dark, thicker than that, like light just gave up before it got out there. He stood there for a second, then closed it and turned back around. One of the monks was standing now. He hadn't heard him move, hadn't heard anything. The monk was just closer, a few steps away, staring directly at him. Is something wrong? Nothing. Then the monk turned and walked away, slow and smooth. No footsteps, no sound at all. Something cold settled in Renji's chest. He started actually looking around now, paying real attention for the first time. The candles, they weren't melting. The flames weren't even flickering. And the food bowl still sitting where he'd left it, still warm, untouched, like no time had passed. How long was I asleep? He made up his mind. Dark or not, he was leaving. Something about this place wasn't right in a way he couldn't name, and he'd learned a long time ago to trust that feeling. Back to the entrance, door open, same darkness as before, but this time he stepped out. One step. The ground felt wrong immediately. Not dirt, not stone, something softer. And when he looked down, there was nothing there, just black. like the ground itself had stopped existing past the threshold. He stepped back inside fast and shut the door. When he turned around, every single monk was facing him. All of them, perfect rows, heads tilted up just slightly, eyes locked on him, not blinking, not breathing, just staring in that horrible synchronized way. Renji found his sword. "What is this place?" One of them spoke, and here's the thing, it didn't sound like one voice, it sounded like several, all layered on top of each other. "The cycle must continue." "What cycle?" Nobody answered. That's when he noticed the altar. There was a figure there. He'd assumed it was a statue when he came in. It was wrapped head to toe in heavy cloth, sitting perfectly upright. But the cloth was moving, slowly, rhythmically, like something underneath was trying to breathe. It clicked then, all of it. This wasn't a place of worship. It was a ritual, something tied to reincarnation, to the soul, the cycle of death and rebirth, but twisted, wrong in a way that made his skin crawl. They're keeping something from moving on. The monk nearest him took a step forward. "The night must not end." Another step. "The soul must not leave." Renji drew his sword. "Stay back!" They didn't. All of them rose at the same moment, that same eerie smoothness, like they were one thing pretending to be many. He swung at the closest one, connected clean. Nothing. No blood, no reaction. The monk didn't even slow down. They weren't alive, but they weren't dead either. Something in between, something stuck. Behind them, the cloth around the altar figure pulled tight, then went slack, like a breath. Renji ran. He hit the door, yanked it open. Darkness again, that same impossible black. But this time he heard something behind him, not the monks, something else, heavier, slower, a dragging sound, deliberate, getting closer. He didn't turn around. He knew better not to turn around, but he felt it, right there, close enough that the air felt different. He stepped toward the darkness, and something grabbed his shoulder.
There's a village on the edge of a Wari province that most people have never heard of. Farming country. Small houses, flat fields, quiet nights. The kind of place where nothing really happens, and that's exactly how the people there liked it. Takeshi was one of them, just a farmer. Woke up, worked the fields, came home, ate, slept. Repeat. Nothing about him stood out, and he wasn't trying to change that. The first time he saw it, he almost didn't register it. He was walking back from the fields late, no moon out, that particular kind of heavy rural dark where the silence actually has weight to it. As he passed a neighboring farm, something near the edge of the field caught his eye. A figure, tall, thin, standing completely still, head slightly bowed, wearing what looked like a long black cloak. Takeshi squinted for a second. Probably just someone checking on their crops. It didn't feel right, but he wasn't about to stand there and stare. He walked home, forgot about it by morning. That was the beginning, though he didn't know it yet. Next evening, same walk home, and there it was again. Same figure, same spot. Except this time, there was a man working in the field nearby, and the figure was standing behind him. Not close, not touching, just there, following at a distance. "Hey!" Takeshi called out. The man looked up. "What?" "That behind you, there's—" He stopped. It was gone. "Nothing," Takeshi said, rubbing his eyes. "Forget it." The man laughed. Takeshi tried to. 3 days later, that man was found dead in his field. Collapsed. No injuries, no sign of struggle. People said exhaustion, maybe illness. These things happen. Takeshi said nothing, but he couldn't shake it. After that, the sightings kept coming. Every few days, he'd see it, always behind someone, always silent,
always just watching. And without fail, within a day or two, that person was dead. He started pulling back, avoided going out at night, stopped making eye contact with people, like somehow that might protect them, or him. It's just in my head. I need sleep, that's all this is. He almost had himself convinced. Then he went to the city with his wife, Aiko. Busy streets, noise, crowds, the kind of place that usually makes you feel like the world is normal and ordinary and fine. He saw it in the crowd. Standing behind a man at a rice stall, closer than he'd ever seen it before. That tall, dark shape, face completely hidden beneath the hood, like a shinigami pulled straight from the old stories. He grabbed Aiko's arm. "Do you see that?" "See what?" "That thing, right behind that man." "Takeshi, what are you talking about?" She was looking at him the way people look at someone they're starting to worry about. He turned back. Gone again. A few hours later, that same man collapsed in the street, right in front of them. People shouting, rushing in, total chaos, and Takeshi just stood there in the middle of it, completely still, because there was no explaining this away anymore. Then the marks started. At first, he thought he was imagining them too, a faint shadow on someone's skin, neck, chest, somewhere close to the surface, easy to dismiss, but he kept seeing them, and the people who had them kept dying, always within 15 days, not 14, not 16, 15. He stopped sleeping, stopped talking much. Aiko kept asking what was wrong, and he kept saying nothing, because what was he supposed to say? "I can see death? I've been watching it follow people around for weeks?" They'd think he was cursed, and honestly, maybe he was. Then one night, he looked out his window. The figure was outside his house, not lurking, not hiding, just standing there in the open, looking directly at him. Takeshi stepped back slowly. His chest felt like it was being squeezed. The figure moved, one step forward, and that's when he caught his own reflection in the glass. His hand went to his neck before he even fully understood why. There was a mark there, dark, clear, unmistakable. He ran to the mirror, yanked his collar down, stood there staring at it for what felt like a long time. 15 days. He counted backward, forward, tried to find a reason the math was wrong. 14 days left. That night, he tore through the house, old storage, boxes he hadn't touched in years, anything. He didn't know what he was looking for. Something, anything. He found it under the floorboards. His father's notes, wrapped in cloth, shoved somewhere they weren't supposed to be found. The handwriting was messy, rushed, like it was written by someone who didn't expect to finish. "I made a contract," the first real line read, "with a shinigami." Takeshi's hands went still. "To see what others cannot." He kept reading. His father had gained the ability, the curse, to see death approaching, to see the figure, to see the marks. In exchange, the price was everything. His wife, then himself. And the debt, apparently, didn't die with him. It passed down. Takeshi set the paper on the floor and just sat there for a moment, putting it all together. Why he could see it, why no one else ever looked twice. It wasn't some random affliction that found him. It was inherited, like a name, like a face. That's when he felt it, a presence right behind him. He turned slowly. The figure was inside the house now, standing close, closer than it had ever been to him before. And as he sat there, unable to move, unable to breathe, it tilted its head just slightly downward, looking at the mark on his neck. 14 days. It had spent all this time watching everyone else. Now it was watching him.